skies, a low of 24 at the lake, 18 inland. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 42. Weather is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, offering the perfect holiday gift. A memorable experience with Bartolotta gift cards. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com, and happy holidays, Milwaukee. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It's no leap to make time to head to Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield this week. Not just because of the great deals you know will be available, but because of a very special guest. Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler will be stopping by Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield this Wednesday from 4 to 6. He'll be signing autographs for fans and celebrating the 30th anniversary of the very first Lambeau Leap. Take photos with the Hall of Famer and add his signature to your collection. Come see Leroy, and while you're there, check out Robert Hack's holiday specials on lab-grown diamonds. 2-carat diamond earrings for just $999. That's right, 2 carats for under $1,000. And if you need repairs or want to get cold hard cash for your gold, Robert Hack Diamonds can help you with that too. It all happens this Wednesday from 4 to 6. Celebrate the 30th anniversary of the first Lambeau Leap by getting an autograph from Green and Gold legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, and finish your holiday shopping all in one trip. It's this Wednesday at Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield. RobertHackDiamonds.com.
Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
Nixon, who delivered that hit, puts the ball on the ground. Love is picked. Pinnock on the interception. Handoff is to Barkley, and he's got his second of the night. Touchdown Giants.
And it's the day after.
The hold, the kick. The win for the Giants.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
When you're bad in all three phases, that's what happens. You lose the game.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
All right, well, the Packers were due a clunker at some point, weren't they? Isn't the season still all about development and growth? We welcome you into another Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. We're on a Tuesday tonight after the Packers' 24-22 loss to the Giants on Monday Night Football. A painful, sort of agonizing game. Felt like a rock fight in the early going. They found their way into the lead with about a minute and change left. Unfortunately, that Joe Barry defense played soft, and the Giants walk away with a win. What does it do to the Packers' playoff chances? We'll get into that. Jason Wilde joins us a little earlier tonight at 6:15. Gary Ellerson to my right. He is caffeinated. He has just added some sweet and low to his iced tea, which I know means business now. And he has eaten his roasted chicken, which is delicious here at Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Matt, I don't know how to best describe last night's game, Gary, but it was frustrating in so many different ways and phases. How do you digest what you watched last night?
Well, and I know people hate hearing this, but it's still about growth. It's still about development, and they don't know what they don't know yet. I've had a lot of people on my Facebook page. You guys can follow my Facebook page at Gary Ellerson with the blue check mark. A lot of people are upset when I say it's about growth and development. Guys, they've been playing a whole season, Gary. How is it still about growth and development? Well, if you've never played in New York before, if you've never been in that stadium before, to me it's still all about growth and development. On Monday night, it's a big stage. It's New York. No matter what you think it is, and how many games that they played, it's different. And what Jordan Love saw, although I thought he was off, but what Jordan Love saw in that stadium, that wind swirls around down there on that field, and you got to be able to throw a better ball than what he threw the other night. I think he found out the hard way. Do you remember some years back in the old Dallas Stadium? Brett Favre, they would talk about the crown of the field and how it falls off, like you couldn't even see your feet on the crown of the field. Yes. And that Brett Favre had to learn how to throw those out patterns over there because the ball would just sail on him. We had never played there before. And so you have to then adjust your game to these stadiums that you go in that you have no idea about. Case in point brings you back to, and it's not the Meadowlands anymore, but when I played, it was the Meadowlands. But it's still that wind swirls around in that stadium, and it takes your ball. And you now got to throw a better ball than that. And still, the the Monday night deal is still a big deal where all eyes are on you. And for a lot of those guys, it's their first time ever playing in that. I think my biggest takeaway from that, though, Greg, would be Jordan Love never gave up. Although he had a bad game, he was off. We still saw this guy, the same guy that we saw early in the year, that you couldn't tell that he was frazzled or rattled. He still brought his team back and put them in position to win the game at the end. And to me, that shows a lot.
That was probably the most encouraging part of the game for me. And we'll get into the other phases and what disappointed us the most, because every phase was just kind of a mess at times last night.
Yes.
But you're spot on with Jordan Love. With where he started and where he finished, he grew within the game, right? And this is without his top tight end. Although Tucker Kraft is enjoying a nice little surge
here. He's doing
here.
pretty good, yeah.
Jaden Reed was out toward the end of the game with being treated for a concussion. Dontavian Wicks also out. Forced Maleeth into a
prominent role.
A very prominent role
Yes.
within the offense. And no Aaron Jones, of course. So they had sort of an uphill battle and continued to face adversity throughout the game. Giants are not a very good team. What they do best, however, is play defense. And that showed up. But it felt like a lot of self-sabotage to me for the Packers. Jordan Love's fumble. Kind of an errant ball. It just sort of wobbled the interception. Man, that thing sat up like a punt.
The ball wobbled all night long for him in the first half.
And it felt to me like he was a little more decisive, maybe had a little more zip in that second half. There weren't as many floater balls, and maybe the wind was working in their favor. Ball to Toure.
I think he figured it out. He figured out that wind in this is the kind of ball I got to throw in this stadium. A lot of guys don't know that until they're there.
So the crime in how last night's game ended is that we are not talking about an incredible rebound effort for Malik Heath. Had the ball in his hands in the end zone. A great throw by Love. It's whacked out of his hand. Apparently you got to have 3 feet down now with the ball. I don't know. The rules seem to change all the time. But the very next play,
just as Troy Aikman.
He makes just an incredible catch at the goal line and has the presence of mind to whisk the ball over and hit the pylon, and it's a touchdown. That's just an amazing play.
It really is.
By a rookie receiver. And then Matt LaFleur dials up the absolute worst two-point conversion call I have ever seen in an NFL football game. It is awful. Absolutely awful. So that coupled with the Packers' soft-ass defense against Tommy DeVito and the Giants with a minute and change left, knowing they just need to get into field goal range, playing off coverage, and just inviting DeVito to hit a 6-yard out or an 8-yard out. Just easy pitch and catch. You did not make his life difficult. Those are the most frustrating elements because of where they appeared in the game. And it takes away from what could have been another Jordan Love fourth-quarter comeback win and a sign of growth and a team that played poorly but still found a way to win. That's the phrase you want to use today, and we're not able to use it.
No, you do, but I think it's coming. You have to learn how to do all those things. This team has to learn how to do that, and they don't know how to do that yet until they go through it. And as they're going through it, they'll figure it out. And so, but you're right. There's a lot of self-inflicted things that happened in that game that should not have happened. Saquon Barkley gave them a gift, and to try to get back in the game, the punt return that hit the kid's shoulder, and we recovered. We only get 3 points out of that at the 14-yard line.
Meanwhile, the Giants got 7 when Nixon did his little
right.
move up.
10 plays, 75 yards they went. We got to be able to get 7 out of that, and you didn't get it. So, offense, defense, special teams, they all played a part in this huge stinker in New York. Is it Giant Stadium? Is that what they call it?
MetLife? What is it now?
MetLife Stadium?
I still call it Candlestick out in California.
It was Meadowlands when I played. Now is it MetLife now? And it was, they used to play at the Meadowlands. I don't even know how
still
that
New Jersey.
Works. Is it still New Jersey?
I think it's the same turf you played on, too.
It could be, because it looks hard, like it was really big. Do you know I had a kickoff return, maybe about 60, 70 yards. I got caught by the kicker and got knocked out.
Did you face a little grief on the sidelines?
Well, not at the time.
Or did you just go to the locker room?
Well, just keep going, dude.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
but
it'll happen.
But anyway, I like how you're right in that the Packers is a game that they should have won, but they just were not prepared to take the game that was given to him.
So what stands out most to you? We'll put it bluntly here, the unit that screwed up the most last night. Offense, defense, special teams. It's 800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here. 800-990-3776. Chris Larson producing the program. We'll put a little poll question up. The unit that screwed up the most, as you've now had about 20 hours or so to sit on what happened last night. I had this pit in my stomach as soon as the 2-point conversion failed. But let me ask you this question. The Jets sweep thing, okay, it's worked with Jaden Reed at times this year. About the third quarter, I'm thinking to myself, you're going to the well too often on the Jets sweep. And the Giants were starting to sniff it out once they saw Reed go through his motion. When you go for a 2-point conversion, to try and make it a 3-point game, make it a little more difficult for the Giants. They're going to beat you, they got to score a touchdown. A field goal will tie the game and go to overtime. You're setting up your 2-point conversion. Where's the ball placed? 2.5-yard line?
Yeah.
What is it? 2.5?
There's about, yeah.
Could somebody please explain to me the logic of running a play where the person with the ball in his hands receives the ball in his hands at the 8 on a 2-point conversion when the ball is at the 2.5 at the beginning of your play? Nothing about that made any sense to me, Gary.
Well,
at the time it happened, I'm screaming, I'm smashing my head against the dresser.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Well, Matt LaFleur overthought it. And basically for me, I think he may have overthought the whole game plan. And that game plan to me really was about, I got no Aaron Jones and I got no Christian Watson, made him do other things that he wouldn't normally do in the game. In my opinion, at that position, at that point, give it to Jordan Love and let him figure it out. If he's your best player, put the ball in your best player's hand. Matter of fact, if you didn't want Jordan Love to do it, give me my big back and let me run my big back. Those are the two things I probably would have done. First thing for me would have been about my quarterback, Jordan Love. Let Jordan Love win or lose the game or get somehow, some way, Jordan Love. Second option to me would have been A.J. Dillon. That's how I would have done that.
Just no time to get cute, right?
It wasn't, but although it worked and that play stacked other plays on top of other plays, I get it. But I agree with you, went to well one too many times. But what I'm saying to you, the reason why they were in that position is because of, I give you the reason why, because of no Aaron Jones, because of no Christian Watson. What I think Matt LaFleur has to do, if Jordan Love is having one of those games, don't save him. You can't save him. If he's going to throw 5 picks, let him throw 5 picks. I was once told one time, I think by Leroy Butler, a good friend of mine, I think they were playing the St. Louis Rams. I believe it was in St. Louis. Now I don't know how many picks Brett had thrown
in the playoff game.
And Brett's running off the field.
6.
Brett's running off the field, and I think he'd already threw his 5th interceptions. And I think Leroy looked at him, yo man, what's going on? And Brett goes, Leroy, I might throw 5 more. So what I'm saying to Matt LaFleur, give it to your guy. Let him do what he's going to do and live with it. If that's we're hitching our trailer to Jordan Love. Go ahead and hit your trailer. Don't give it to him part-time. Let him have it all.
So here's the drive summary leading into what looked like it could have been the game-winning touchdown. Packers took a lead on this drive. 1st and 10 from the 36. A.J. Dillon for 8. A.J. Dillon for 1. A.J. Dillon up the gut on 3rd and 1 for 5 yards. So giving it to the big back for productive yards in 3 straight plays. A.J. Dillon, after his 5-yard carry, it was a 1st and 10 at the 22, and it was Love to Dobbs for 6 yards. He had the 2-minute warning in there. 1 incomplete pass. He had a pass to Jaden Reed for 8 yards, so Love was kind of cooking. A.J. Dillon was kind of getting a lather on that particular drive. And the pass Jordan Love made to Malik Heath, and it was a fantastic catch, all hands, working his body to make sure that ball crossed the goal line or broke the plane. You had the 2 players you're talking about heavily involved in that drive. Mm-hmm. And not that Jaden Reed's not a great playmaker, he is. But to hand anybody the ball at the 8, when you need 2.5 yards, I just don't get it.
No, I don't.
Going to the short side of the field?
I would agree. I totally agree with you that.
I just don't get it.
But don't overthink it, Matt LaFleur.
Right.
Matt LaFleur had a great game plan. It wasn't executed the way that we want to. I saw enough jet sweeps. I get you with all that. But I'm just telling you why the game plan was what it was. And I think he's got to let Jordan Love sink or swim when we're faced with these types of situations. And I think he tried to save Jordan Love from himself, knowing that Jordan was struggling a little bit in the first half. Give it all to him.
800-990-3776 if you'd like to join us here. We'll check in with Jason Wilde coming up on the other side. There's probably a literal answer to this. I think there's a figurative answer to this. At what point did you feel like, oh boy, they're not going to win this game? We'll get to Jason's thoughts coming up on the other side. Just getting started here from Rockin' Brews. Come join us here. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Untethered, unfiltered, and unbothered.
I walk out this cold water into this cold snow that also has this cold air. All right, my dang pee-pee may turn to a popsicle.
Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL.
I want to stop. They're listening upstairs.
Weekdays from 2 to 5, right here on 94.5 ESPN. And subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 count or 10 to 12 ounce selected varieties Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts coffee, $6.99. 18 to 80 count selected varieties Hefty trash bags, $7.99. 23.6 to 36 ounce selected varieties Edwards cream pies, $5.99. 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there? You've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week. Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
In the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there's an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where there's a table waiting for you at 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat at 40 table games or 3,000 slot machines, plus the thrill of bingo, full-service sports betting, and more. Are you ready to spark something new? Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Chris McLean, co-owner of DBAT Brookfield, the baseball and softball training facility, had some special criteria when choosing a document imaging resource.
I think as a business owner, you're looking for a partner that when you need them, you know they're there and they can effectively communicate any sort of issue.
You chose your document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. How have they measured up?
They've checked all the boxes and then some.
And that included a great price on a color document imaging system from James, which is still today saving DBAT Brookfield time and money.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to outsource our color printing, which can be expensive. We can do it right here on demand, and it's been incredible value.
Chris, any advice for local companies looking for a special document imaging technology partner?
Yeah, I would say go to James Imaging.
It's easy to do. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com. That's jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, a group of doctors I trusted with my knee surgery. The pain was real and options were important. My experience with each doctor was thorough, the appointments were timely, always close and easy access to the building. My mom felt the same way, I know, when she went there for her physical therapy appointments at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I trusted their surgical team for my knee surgery, and I know they'll take care of you the way they did my mom and me. Make an appointment at orthowisconsin.com.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
But the story continues for the Giants defensively. Here's Reed. He's got the first down. He's got the touchdown. Packers on top.
Our best electrifying play of the game in the first half. Jaden Reed's touchdown, a jet sweep that worked in yesterday's game. One of the first ones. You go to that well 5 or 6 times, and the likelihood of it working are probably not great. That certainly played itself to be true as the Packers stumbled down the stretch after taking a lead with their 2-point conversion. The defense also very soft in a 24-22 loss to the Giants. Greg Matzik, Gary Ellerson with you. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. Happy to be joined by Jason Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Hello, Wilde.
Hello, guys. Is this the Ellerson effect that I'm experiencing today?
Hi-oh.
We'll get into that at some point tonight.
Could you explain the Ellerson effect? What is the Ellerson effect?
Everybody wants to know. Inquiry minds.
Everybody wants
including to know. David Bakhtiari.
Jason, there was there's a literal answer to this question and probably a figurative answer to this question. At what point did you really feel like the Packers were in trouble last night?
Pretty early on. I thought it was pretty clear that this was going to be the clunker that I had been predicting. But that's the amazing thing about the way last night played out. 2 things. One, everybody had a hand in how disappointing that performance was, right? I mean, from Matt LaFleur to special teams to the offense to the defense. On the flip side, they still could have and perhaps should have won the game after they go down and get the go-ahead touchdown. But Matt LaFleur's end around, whatever that misdirection handoff was to Jaden Reed, where he came in motion, then he doubled back, that obviously didn't work. So now it's a 1-point game instead of a 3-point game, and a field goal beats you instead of forcing overtime. And then the defense, obviously, I mean, the first 4 plays gained 53 yards. And while LaFleur was okay with the first 2, which were 2 checkdowns on which the player was tackled inbound, so the clock kept running. You know, they call a man coverage on 1st and 10 from the 37. And Carrington Valentine is, lined up in Staten Island and gives so much cushion that it's an easy pitch and catch. And then obviously the next play, Keyshawn Nixon gets beat, and they get the 32-yard gain, and then they just kind of fiddle and diddle around until they can kick the game-winning field goal. So it was a winnable game. We all thought it was a winnable game, but we also thought, hey, you know what? This team could also lose a game like this, and lo and behold, that's exactly what they did. And it was the defense that kind of finished off the disappointment, even though everyone contributed.
And I thought, too, it will be a tough game for them offensively when you really didn't have Aaron Jones and you really didn't have Christian Watson. I think those 2 players make the game easy for Jordan Love, and also makes it easier for a play caller like Matt LaFleur. I think maybe Matt LaFleur maybe overthought the game plan a little bit too much and tried to create some things that really wasn't there. And I think that's what happens when you really don't have two of your most explosive players on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, and Musgrave too, remember. He's still sitting on injured reserve. They're waiting for him to get back. So, yeah, I mean, look, this is a flawed football team that has some good qualities and has some not-so-good qualities. Just like the other 5 teams in the NFC that have the exact same sub-500 record of 6-7. And then there's a couple more, including the Giants and the Bears, who have 5-8 records. Like, there is, we've talked about this on a lot of Mondays, just the level of mediocrity / bad football. And that is definitely the case in the NFC. And the Packers are a team that I like to call them a team that can beat anybody that they play and lose to anybody they play. And the thing about that is good teams, yes, once in a while, they will lose to a far inferior team. But more often than not, when they play a team they're supposed to beat, they beat them. And the Packers just aren't anywhere close to being that team just yet.
I would agree with you, but as you're looking at that game, didn't you start to think to yourself, now I see how Christian Watson, if he were in this game, how it could be a little bit easier, though, for this offense?
Sure, but Gary, it depends on which Christian Watson we get, right? I mean,
absolutely,
in fairness,
absolutely.
Like there's been games where you're absolutely right. He is a difference maker, not only with what he does himself. You know, I mean, during that 3-game winning streak, he had 14 catches, 4 of them for touchdowns. Like, there's no denying he's a good player that changes things. But early in the season, you know, he was a younger version of MVS. You know, I mean, he wasn't fighting for 50-50 balls. He was just a guy that ran down the field and at least drew attention, even if he didn't make any plays. And that, you're right, he had changed. He had obviously become an impact player for them. And for him, it's the first time I've ever seen a guy injure his hamstring while giving himself up to stay in bounds late in the game. I've never seen that before that. And that does, I really like him. He is a stand-up guy. He has an incredibly unique skill set of the combination of his speed and his height and size, but he is fragile. And if he doesn't find ways, and I know he told us last week that he's been investigating all these different ways to try and improve his hamstring issues, if he doesn't figure out a way to be more durable, you know, the most important ability is availability, and his has been intermittent at best.
So, Jason, for weeks I've been asking the question to Gary, and we've asked you to try and fill in the blank. Joe Barry's defense is blank. And at the end of the day, I end up looking at a team that is allowing between 14 and 24 points a game. That's manageable to overcome, right? If you're an offense, that's a manageable number. But there is so much beneath the covers here of just points per game allowed that leaves me frustrated. 200-plus more yards allowed on the ground. No sacks of Tommy DeVito. More likely to beat you with his legs than he is his arm. The easiest fourth-quarter game-winning field goal drive in NFL history. It happened last night, right? It seemed way too easy last night. So
it might be a little bit of hyperbole, but yeah.
I can't defend it anymore. I still look at points allowed, and I say that's respectable, but you cannot tell me it tells the whole story here, because it doesn't.
No, I don't think it does. And, you know, I think the best word to describe his defense is it's fine, right? It's fine. It's certainly not good, definitely not great, and it's definitely not dominant. It's fine. And if you have some of the offenses that the Packers have had in the past, with Aaron Rodgers running them and skilled position players galore that are experienced and consistent, then they look a little different, right? And then the defense, you feel like, oh, well, these guys are definitely good enough, right? But they're not for this group. They just aren't. And so, you know, realistically, you know, they're not terrible. They're not bad. They are good enough in most instances. But last night, against Tommy DeVito, who ran for 70 yards, against a group that easily went down the field on them for that game-winning field goal, they were nowhere near close to being good enough. And that's the reality, though, is that the history of them on defense leads us to focus on that. And the special teams and the offense were responsible, too, as were Matt LaFleur. But not only does the defense have a history of letting this team down, especially under Joe Barry, but they were the last ones to let the Packers down, right? I mean, the offense, for all their failures throughout the game, and Jordan Love being inaccurate, turning the ball over, when the game was on the line, and something he had not done earlier in the year, right? He had some opportunities to go win games earlier in the year, and he failed. He went and got the go-ahead touchdown. And then the defense obviously gave it back.
You're right. You were talking about the three phases of the game. I was just taken aback, though, if you look at the special teams in themselves with Bisaccia at the helm. I think I heard last night that they're the most penalized special teams in the NFL. I would have never thought that to be the case, but that is what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's obviously got the pulse on the wall, as Mike McCarthy would say, of being a really good special teams coordinator. They are a young team. The trickle down obviously always ends up hitting the special teams units, and they have had a revolving door there. But I don't think it's in any way unreasonable to expect them to be better than they've been. They have not been good enough, and their penalty numbers are way too high. They're not really having an impact with their return game. And look, I like Anders Carlson's potential. I like how good he could be. But right now, he's going through a period where you're not quite sure what you're going to get when he lines up to kick the football.
Right.
All sorts of that, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's collective, right? I mean, it's 3 turnovers, it's a missed field goal, it's just unexplainable 2-point conversion play where Jaden Reed, an electrifying player, gets the ball at the 8 when the ball is positioned at the 2.5-yard line. Like all of those things contributed to the loss, and it was hoping. And I know that the person who appreciates a good story, that no one more than you, Jason. I was already in my post-game wraps that I file for 620 WTMJ of the night or day after every Packers game was going to include how a rookie, Malik Heath, stepped into a prominent role on the final drive and came up with an incredible touchdown reception that vaulted the Packers, who did not have a good game, into victory, further cementing their playoff standing and increasing their playoff odds at 70%. Like, that was the story I was ready to try and tell in so many short words, and it was right there in front of us. An amazing touchdown drive, put all the crap behind you, let's find a way to get this thing. It was there, and unfortunately it just fell short.
Yeah, well, in fairness, that Tommy DeVito guy's a pretty good story, too. Although his agent might be leaning into that just a little more than he needs to.
You don't think his attire was authentic, or maybe too authentic?
I have that same outfit. No, yes. I thought that was a little over the top. Yeah.
Poshmark is a wonderful place, no doubt about that. Jason, we appreciate your time tonight. We will talk again next week, hopefully talking about a Packers win over the Buccaneers. A lot of congestion here in the NFC. Thanks, pal.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Yeah.
You do the same. So what does last night's loss mean for the Packers' playoff chances? We talk about the creamy middle in the NFC. Oh, it's never been creamier than it is now. We'll analyze after this.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Adulting in the fall means responsible spiking. For pumpkin spice or whatever your preferred fall drink concoction is, spike it with rum chata. It's a solution for any occasion. Rum chata is the world's finest liqueur featuring premium Caribbean rum combined with vanilla, cinnamon, and the highest quality dairy cream sourced from Wisconsin. Enjoy a smooth shot or a tantalizing spiked beverage with Rum Chata Original. And, backed by popular demand for a limited time, Rum Chata Peppermint Bark. Rum Chata, the superior way to spike and sip responsibly this fall.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here from my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today.
Hey, I came as fast as I could. What's wrong?
Everything's okay. I just need you to know I'm glowing up.
You just texted SOS Get Here Now.
And I stand by that because I switched to Cricket and got the all-new Motorola Razr. I have entered my flip era, and I am glowing up.
I'm gonna go back home.
I support that.
Switch to Cricket and get the all-new Motorola Razr for $199.99. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Must open a new line on a $60 a month voice plan. First month service charge and tax to its sale. Fees, terms, and restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
It's the holiday mystery sale at JCPenney. How much will you save? An amazing coupon giveaway starts this Thursday. Everyone can enjoy guaranteed savings of an extra 30% off, or your chance at an extra 40 or 50% off your entire purchase in store. All the gifts you need, all the savings you want. Mystery solved. JCPenney. Make your holidays count. Offers valid on select styles 12/7 through 12/14. Exclusions apply. Giveaway in store only. Must be 18 or older. See store or jcp.com for details.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by UW Credit Union. For over 90 years, UW Credit Union has helped Wisconsinites achieve their financial goals at every stage of life, offering great rates for greater possibilities. Join today at uwcu.org. Despite a big loss at number 1 Arizona this past Saturday, the Wisconsin men's basketball team holds steady in this week's AP poll. The Badgers reappear for the second week in a row at number 23 in the country, following a week where the Badgers went 1-1 with a win at Michigan State last Tuesday and the aforementioned loss at Arizona on Saturday. The Badgers, who are now 7-3 on the season, only have one game on the calendar this week. That's Thursday at the Kohl Center as they host Jacksonville State. Tip-off has been moved to 6 p.m. to accommodate the volleyball team's national semifinal.
Unwrap your gift now, but pay later. Right now at Pella, put no money down, no payment, and no interest for up to 18 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Obviously, extremely disappointed. I think our team learned a valuable lesson in terms of you don't play your best. It doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing, and when you're playing. You're not going to win the game. We lost the turnover battle. Weren't good enough in situational ball, third down, red zone. We had plenty of opportunities. Give New York credit. They went out there. They played better than we did tonight. This game's about execution, and we didn't execute to the best of our ability.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur following last night's loss. Very disappointing loss here, 24-22, the final. It's an ugly game in every phase. Still, the Packers took a lead with 1:33 left, just unable to convert. A 2-point conversion, defense way too soft. Matt LaFleur addressed that. We'll get to his sound coming up, but he is not happy with the soft coverage on that final drive. It was a field goal drive for the Giants, traveled just north of 50 yards. Pretty easily. Gary, that was easy. That was just, off coverage, man coverage, and easy pitch and catch for a third-string quarterback that you didn't make work. You didn't make him do anything difficult in that final drive.
Yeah, most quarterbacks in that position can make those throws. Any quarterback can, in the NFL. If you're playing 5-6 yards off, we're just going to run a quick curl here, 5-6 yards, boom, boom. I mean, it's just pitch and catch. You do that in practice every single day. And so the soft coverage for me, I just didn't get. I didn't understand the concept. And a lot of these things is about concepts and how they do. If you're playing cover one, if you're in zone, sometimes you can be in zone, but you can make it look like man, right? And sometimes you in man, and you can make it look like zone. So you just don't know what their philosophies is as far as to what their defense is playing. And I think for the Packers, now we've got to get looked at. I just sent some sound to Chris Larson. Maybe you can take a look at it. But we don't know what their plan is designed to do from a defensive standpoint in that position.
So I don't know if Matt LaFleur knew either. Here's what he had to say about the off-coverage play, the final drive that led to the Giants' ultimately game-winning field goal.
In Tampa tape and, moving on.
So you're watching the film on the flight back?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm curious, when you look at the final defensive series, what do you see that you didn't see in real time, and what do you kind of wish you guys had done differently?
Well, I mean, you wish you would have stopped them. Like the first couple plays, they hit 2 checkdowns. you're fine with that. And then we're playing, Joe called man coverage, and we're playing way off, which we shouldn't be in that situation. We called another man coverage. That's when we got beat on that 7 cut. We just got to be better with our eyes. And you can't be peeking in the backfield, and you got to keep your eyes on your work. And unfortunately, we didn't, and we got gashed. That ultimately did us in.
Were the corners playing off by their own choice, or just was that the call?
That is something that we're going to have to get corrected, Bill. So that is, we if we're calling man, we got to be tighter.
So let's apply the Gary translator to what Matt LaFleur had to say, because he thought very carefully before he responded to Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated and saying, we've got to get that corrected, Bill. He was very intentional about what he said so as to not throw any individual under the bus. Who is Matt LaFleur pointing the finger at when he says, we got to get that corrected?
But once again, I know people hate hearing that. Valentine and Valentine, right? Keyshawn Nixon probably should know better, but Valentine and Valentine, you got 2 young corners out there. They don't know what they're doing. You coaching these guys on the fly. They have no idea. And maybe it wasn't taught to them the way it should have been taught to them. We don't know.
But what's what the message going into that drive, though? Isn't it, hey, nothing over the top, keep everything in front of you? Or is there a collective, we're going man, but I need you up close? Like, make him beat you with his arm.
Well, it should have been, if you're in man, we're in sticky man. So you should be up in the guy's face. But like I say, sometimes they make man look like zone and zone look like man. I don't know what their coverage scheme is, and I don't know how they communicate it. But once again, I think these are situations that you got young players in that don't know what they're doing. Maybe Jair plays it differently. I don't know. Maybe, Rasul Douglas, when he was here, maybe he plays that differently. I don't know. So I think it's all about concepts and what these guys are playing. And so we really don't know what that is. So they need to go back and say, when we're in man, this is man. This is what man should look like.
So Joe Barry spends his time up in the booth, right? He's up in a box making his defensive calls. Is there anybody on the sideline who could see that represents the defense, who could yell, up, up, up?
Well, he should be
4 yards off, 5 yards off.
He should be talking to his defensive back coach, most certainly. That's who's getting that call.
Like, if you see that, right, you see that, and I'm watching on TV, right? I'm watching on TV last night. I don't even see the cornerback in the screen.
One of those, nobody was even there.
Not even in the screen.
No,
so you tell me nobody from the sideline can make a correction on the fly?
The first one, they made the tackle right away, but it seems like as the drive got going,
oh man, it got easy.
They got further and further back.
Weak.
Yeah.
So weak. That is the biggest issue I have.
So I don't know the blame of where to put that. I think it's about concepts and what they're teaching, and I don't know what they're teaching. But if you in press man, this is what press mans look like all the time. Should be no gray area there.
It felt to me like the Packers were more worried about Tommy DeVito's legs than they were his arm. And I get it, right? You just allowed 200 yards rushing to a combination of Saquon Barkley and Tommy DeVito. And that game's put away, by the way, if Saquon Barkley doesn't
fumble,
just stumble over himself and the ball just kind of randomly comes loose. That was a very strange play, but that was just kind of how it was going for both teams at times last night.
Right.
So it played into the Packers' favor, set up a potentially game-winning touchdown for naught, obviously. But, man, it is so frustrating to look and see the Arctic Ocean in between a wide receiver and a defensive back when you know they're going to have to pass the ball, get some chunks, 8-10 yards here, 50 yards in field goal position, and game over.
Right. It should be one of those situations where you say, okay, if Tommy DeVito beats us, then he beats us, right? In press man coverage. If he's got to make the perfect throw to throw it in there. And I don't know if that was told to those defensive backs that were out there. But you saw all game long that I think it was unfortunate that this guy Tommy was getting away all game long.
He can move, no doubt.
And it wasn't a case where he really got outside the pocket. It was more about him stepping up into the pocket and finding creases inside the two tackles.
There were maybe
that absolutely hurt us.
Maybe 2 designed runs.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Frustrating performance really all the way around. Everybody.
We thought this defense would be the leader of this team. I thought really, though, coming into this game, I thought that they could possibly lose this game. But I said to myself, the only way they can win it, though, would be the defense would have to show up big time. And I thought this defense was good enough to make a better showing than they did.
I would agree with that. And
to win it. If they were struggling offensively, because I did. I really think that Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, missing those 2 guys, I thought really would hurt this team production and scoring points. I thought this defense was good enough where they could force this team into turnovers and get sacks, and that really didn't happen.
How big were the losses of Jair Alexander and Quay Walker? We could talk about that coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. But frustrating, all in all. I teased it. We'll get to it on the other side. What did last night's loss mean for the Packers' playoff chances? Just how damaging was that loss to the Giants last night? We'll take a look at the numbers coming up right after this.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
Andy Reid's a dog? No,
Andy Reid's not a dog.
It does not have to be
Come on, he's like a Saint Bernard.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by American Family Insurance.
It doesn't have to be hulking. It's an attitude.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, folks, it's time for me to talk about my good friends over at Best Electric. They're a family-owned and operated company that has been in business for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, from residential to commercial projects and even electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality at fair prices. Keep your family safe this winter with whole and partial home generators so the power is always on. Don't forget to keep your electronics and appliances protected with whole home surge protection services. Connect with the best and visit bestelect.com.
Hear that? It's the sound of a winning December at Potawatomi. Play with your club card December 7th, 14th, and 21st. The more you play, the bigger your share of $400,000 in reindeer rewards. And like a classic Midwest winter, the wins can really pile up. Dash to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee for your reindeer rewards. $400 grand worth. Learn more at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta Restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Jeff Sports invites you to stop in for your sports memorabilia fix. Jeff Sports is a family-owned business with over 43 years of experience. Jeff Sports has a huge selection of autographed sports memorabilia and sports cards. They also offer custom framing with all framing done in-house. Ask about their sports auction consignment program. It's simple and has a 100% no-risk guarantee. For more info, go to jeffsports.com or stop by 14165 West Capitol Drive in Brookfield. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Visit jeffsports.com.
Isn't this the best time of year? Wisconsin has the green and gold, Milwaukee Hoops, Wisconsin football, basketball, and volleyball. What more can Wisconsin sports fans ask for? As Wisconsin's 3PL, Evans Transportation knows that it takes a team effort to make things happen. And when it comes to manufacturers' accounting, shipping, and tracking needs, Evans is the supply chain team you're looking for. Good luck to all Wisconsin teams from Wisconsin's 3PL in Delafield. Find them at evanstrans.com. That's evanstrans.com.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
There was some growth right there, being able to score right there, but I still think there's so many opportunities that we left out there that we could have scored more in the red zone on previous drives to really just take advantage of that game right there. And obviously we didn't. But at the end of the day, we were able to score right there. But it's tough. I think there's a lot of just missed opportunities that we didn't capitalize on.
He's Gary Ellerson. I'm Greg Matzik. It's the Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. Nice little crowd settling in here for Tuesday night football. No, we don't have that.
No.
I thought it was Monday all day long. I've been a day off.
Well, that happens when they play Monday night.
I saw a graphic for the Eagles-Seahawks game for next Monday night.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it was like a promo. I didn't have the sound. I thought it was for tonight.
Did you really?
I was like, man, what just happened? What's
going on?
What day is it? So I thought last night I'm a day off.
No, not so
I'm
fast,
a day off and $1 short, my friend.
No, you're not.
Packers a little short last night at the Meadowlands, or whatever the hell they call it now, losing to the Giants 24-22. So here's what happened with the loss last night. The Packers did not move out of their position. Amazingly, right? After all the dust has settled, the Packers still begin the week in the number 7 seed in the NFC playoffs.
They're still in the playoffs.
But here's the wacky part.
What's the wacky?
When you have this many teams at the same record, you start getting down the rabbit hole of tiebreakers, right? Because the Packers are ahead of the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, the Packers are the 7 seed, the Falcons right now the 10 seed. But Greg, the Falcons beat the Packers earlier this season. Yes, you're right, Gary. But the Rams and Seahawks are also 6 and 7. The New Orleans Saints are also 6 and 7. So now you got to go beyond head-to-head competition, right? I mean, this is a wacky world of tiebreakers that we're in, and this will all kind of sort itself out. At least I think it will. As there are 3 teams in the same division with the same record: Falcons, Saints, and Buccaneers.
Well, that division.
Somebody's got to win that thing, right?
Yeah.
It's an all-out mess. So the Packers own the number 7 seed because they win the tiebreaker over the Rams, head-to-head competition. They actually win the tiebreaker over Atlanta based upon best win percentage in conference games. Right? Here we are. No longer about head-to-head when you have that many teams lumped in.
But it'll all shake out.
Oh, it does.
It
does.
You got about 4 more weeks left of the season, and that the wins and losses will all shake themselves out. But Roger Goodell and the NFL are happy with this because every fan base right now think that they are going to be in the playoffs at the end, and which means that every stadium is still going to sell out. Every game still means something at the end of the year for a handful of teams. So this is right where the NFL wants to be, the creamy middle, as you call it.
Creamy. Never been creamier. Never been creamier.
You need to stop.
Only 2 teams have been eliminated from the playoffs mathematically.
Yes.
The Patriots and the Carolina Panthers.
That's it.
Soon to be the Arizona Cardinals. You're not getting to the postseason with 10 losses. At least you don't deserve to be. And I would argue probably the Washington Commanders are going to fall out of this race before too long. But the Titans are in it. The Jets are in it. The number of teams at 5 and 8 is astounding. The Chargers, the Raiders, the Jets, the Titans. the Bears, the Giants now. So what's the significance of 5-8? That is only one game worse than the Packers' record of 6-7. So here are the Packers, Gary, in the number 7 seed in the NFC playoff race, but one loss away from, based on the way the tiebreakers fall, having like a top 6 draft pick.
Right.
Like that's how insane and cluttered it is right now.
And so, once again, that's the other end of the spectrum in how great Roger Goodell and NFL is. Now you start talking about draft picks and then high of a draft pick that you could get. Because really, if you think about it, the success of the Green Bay Packers this year has been pretty good, right? But now you're thinking next year, with all these guys coming back, you add a top 10 draft pick to what they have, something special.
Potentially, yes. I think this team is at worst an 8-win team, at worst.
I would agree.
And it may only take one win more than that to be a playoff team. So percentage chance, we'll look at it this way. A win last night over the Giants would have vaulted the Packers into this 70% chance of being a playoff team. Going into last night, they were in the mid-60s or so. So it would have helped. How damaging a blow was it? They dropped to 47% chance of making the playoffs. Still, the matters of being a playoff team are in their own hands. But I think you can only afford one more loss.
And that's going to happen, just so you know.
I think it will too.
Yeah.
You've got Carolina, you've got Tampa Bay, reverse order.
Right.
You've got the Vikings, and you have the Bears to close things out.
And to me, the biggest test for the Packers is how they respond against Tampa Bay, who is a team looking to get in the playoffs.
Kind of feisty, too.
Yeah, and how because the way you lost this game, you were a better team than the Giants. And how do you bounce back? How do these young guys bounce back from that defeat? And if you're not going to have Watson or Aaron Jones in that game offensively, what are the adjustments that Matt LaFleur now will make in the game plan at Lambeau Field? Will he just go ahead and give the keys to Jordan Love? Because in my opinion, he gave Jordan Love the keys and he took them back. Then he gave them to him, then he took them back. Then he gave them to him, then he took them back. He's got to give him the keys and let him have the keys. And just go ahead and pay for the insurance if he wants to. But I didn't see that in this particular game plan. You've got to let, even if Jordan Love is struggling, you can't save him from himself. So saving him from himself to me, Greg, is all the end arounds and the jet sweeps and all that stuff, all the window dressing. When you're doing all that stuff, you're just making up plays. And I think opposing teams sometimes know when you're doing all this window dressing stuff, you feel like they can't beat you with their best bread and butter. So they got to come with it next week against Tampa.
Want to get into the Jair Alexander situation coming up on the other side. This is a very bizarre situation for a player who has seen the field at practice over the course of the last couple of weeks. He has not been shy about addressing the media. He's always been kind of a interesting cat, to put it politely. And his most recent meeting with the media certainly falls under that category of interesting. Got the sunglasses on, the belt's draped over him. Right? He's putting on a show, and people are just trying to figure out, should he be on the field right now? You had a special term for what you believe is happening with Jair Alexander. I'm going to need you to explain the Bakhtiari effect coming up on the other side. If you'd like to join us here, we do have another hour left in the program. Happy to have you along in person here at Rock and Brews or joining us here on the air at ESPN Milwaukee and WTMJ. We'll continue with hour number 2 of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday after this.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 count or 10 to 12 ounce selected varieties Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts coffee, $6.99. 18 to 80 count selected varieties Hefty trash bags, $7.99. 23.6 to 36 ounce selected varieties Edwards cream pies, $5.99. 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there?
you've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week. Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here from my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today. Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. The game is over.
Nixon, who delivered that hit, puts the ball on the ground. Love is picked. Pinnock on the interception. Handoff is to Barkley, and he's got his second of the night. Touchdown Giants.
And it's the day after.
The hold, the kick, the win for the Giants.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
When you're bad in all three phases, that's what happens. You lose the game.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Well, happy to be with you here on a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday. We wish it were under better circumstances. Packers fall to the Giants 24-22 on Monday Night Football still. Green Bay in the number 7 position here in the NFC playoff race. However, it is a clouded and murky picture here with so many teams operating at 6-7. Packers one of 6 teams in the NFC with that record. Here for another hour. Check us out at 800-990-3776. What phase of the Packers is to blame the most for last night's loss? Offense, defense, special teams, our poll question at ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter. We'll update that coming up before the end of the show. All right, another game played without Jair Alexander.
Sure.
And it is starting to feel like Jair Alexander is done. Like he feels his time in Green Bay is probably coming up. There has been a commitment to youth. I don't know, maybe he's butthurt because they traded one of his good friends in Rasul Douglas.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on. I do know he has been dealing with a shoulder injury. I also know he has practiced. And if you listen to Matt LaFleur comment on the situation, he expresses frustration. And it sort of feels like the David Bakhtiari situation from earlier this year when there appeared to be more questions than answered. Eventually that sort of played itself out. But I think with Jair Alexander, it is still very much up in the air why he is not playing. Now here's what he had to say at his locker on Wednesday. And he's starting to get it now from reporters. What is going on here? Can you elaborate? Why are you not playing?
This is last Wednesday.
This is from Wednesday of last week. Here's what he had to say.
First of all, I'm not going to call myself, a prophet, but I called it. I said we was going to win out. You hear me? I said last week who was going to steal the show. The win was going to steal the show. You feel me? So I'm not a prophet, but the people should start listening to me more.
You guys have lost a game since you said that.
Well, I think, what was it, 4 out of 5. I think I'm 80% right now. I think I'm all right.
He would go on to say the only reason he's not playing is because it's a shoulder injury. I can't play. I just can't go. Jair Alexander has a potential out of his contract following the 2024 season. He signed an $84 million contract extension, highest paid corner in the NFL. You, Gary, in addressing this situation, called it the Bakhtiari effect. Maybe this is the Bakhtiari effect. Can you articulate what you mean by that?
Well, I said it was a Roger effect, too. And this was on the home hour on Friday, and it circulated throughout the socials. Rightly so, because we do good work at ESPN and WTMJ. And I responded back to David Bakhtiari because he said I was curious what the Bakhtiari effect is, and it's the Raj effect. And in essence what this is, Greg, and I don't fault any of these guys for this because former players, we fought for this. We fought for guys to have a voice and a say to where they're going and where they want to go and how they're being treated by an organization, right? And we wanted guys in this day and age to, Rodgers, control the controllables if they can. Not a lot of guys can do that. But within all this that I'm saying to you, I feel like there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. I feel like when you are a young team like the Green Bay Packers, and that you're on a rebuild whether they tell you that or not, so you have a lot of young guys there in that locker room. They're trying to learn how to play and do the right things. I think they are void of leadership, and they need leadership in that locker room. Within all this, you have a lot of other things that are happening inside or outside that locker room that guys may not be happy with playing time, or there may be some injuries that are out there. And I said this before, when a guy is hurt, he's hurt. I got no problem with that. My problem with all of this would be the message that you're sending to the young players in the locker room. Because if you're hurt, you can't play. Now, back a long time ago when I played, you played. You had concussions, smelling salt. You went back in, you played. And that was the wrong thing to do, Greg, obviously. Years later, we see CTE and how it is with a lot of these guys that are losing their lives. So we understand that guys, if they're hurt, they shouldn't be out there playing, right? So we get all that. My only part, what I'm talking about is, how does this look inside your locker room if you're a leader of this team, seeing some of the stuff that you're saying? That's what I get. That's the Roger effect. That's the Bakhtiari effect. It's a fine line in trying to take care of yourself, but also being a teammate as well.
So our frustration with David Bakhtiari in the early going was, all right, well, he saw his boy go down, Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays into his season on a crappy field in the Meadowlands, right? The turf monster tore Aaron Rodgers' Achilles.
Right.
And then the Packers are going to play in Atlanta, week number 2. No Bakhtiari. Was it a turf thing? Would he play if this game were at Lambeau Field? Like
no one knows.
We all wondered that because nobody was saying anything about it, right? So here's Jair. I'm burning to get back out there, man. This is driving me nuts. We're in it, and I want to be there for my teammates. I just can't get over the hump yet. I think we're making progress, right? Do you see how that sounds different than standing there and saying, I don't know, injury.
Correct.
Hurt. Can't play.
Right. Those are the things that, right.
Tone
it's the
and
message.
Sentiment
It's the
and
message.
leadership, like it's a crock of crap coming out of his mouth.
Right. And not right. It's the message. And see, so we fought for the message. We fought for this, but we didn't fight for that. That's what I'm saying.
The delivery has everybody in Packers Nation wondering, is he feeding the line of BS, or is he really injured? And he's not getting much assistance from his head coach, which is leaving that door open to speculate.
Because the head coach now, because we fought for all these things, can't overstep his bounds when it comes to injuries. We now have a governing part of the NFL that protect our players from injury, rightly so. So Matt LaFleur now has to be careful in stepping around this injury thing that Jair has, or when David Bakhtiari was going through it. You're never 100%.
No, I get that.
You're never going to be 100%.
I get that.
After the first day of training camp, you're not 100%.
I would bet that Aaron Jones is burning to get back on the field.
Well, yes.
I would bet that Christian Watson, Quay Walker are burning to get back on the field.
Right.
I don't feel that way about Jair Alexander. I feel like he's done.
Because
I feel like he wants his way out of Green Bay.
Because he gives you that.
Yes.
Right.
That's right. Context clues. When you're a kid, you sort of follow the breadcrumbs to what you think the real result of a situation will be.
So this has got nothing to do with injuries to me. And that's what I said before.
It's his crutch.
It doesn't have anything to do with injuries. What I said, it feels like that Jair doesn't want to be here anymore. And let me play with the guys that want to play and be here in Green Bay. It's got nothing to do with injuries.
So have you ever been on a team where you had a player who was, you don't have to name names, but was like that?
No.
Like you just knew they wanted out. It's like, man, why are you crazy?
Never. Because back then we didn't have that. We didn't have a voice back then. Everybody played. When I played, Greg, you couldn't move around. They owned you. That's how archaic the NFL was back. It wasn't until Reggie White with Plan B that he came along that we were able to move around and have our services bidded for. Guys now can get out of contracts like Rodgers did and get moved to other places. I mean, we're seeing this all over the place in the NFL where you think you got an ironclad contract. These guys are able to get out of their contract and go to other places. I'm all for that, rightly so. But when I'm on a team like the Green Bay Packers and it's my team, I think there's a right way and a wrong way to do it.
Does Jair Alexander play another snap for the Packers this season?
I don't know. That's the tough answer for me. They most certainly need him. He's their best corner when he's right. I mean, maybe he makes a difference in that game on Monday night. Maybe he is in press man coverage, and these other guys don't know what to do. Maybe he saves you from that, because most certainly that's what you're missing. You're missing a seasoned guy, veteran back there at that cornerback spot. You got two babies back there. He could have been the difference in winning and losing that game on Monday night, the way they played that defense, Greg.
Did David Bakhtiari respond to your response?
No, because he gets it. I mean, a lot of other people didn't get it. A lot of people say, "Oh, Gary, you're backpedaling." You no, I'm not backpedaling. It's your voice. We fought to have that voice, but it's how you use that voice inside that locker room, because you've got other guys that are following you in that locker. You got a team that's trying to get to the playoffs, right? And you got to have everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. Hurt or not, I just felt like Jair wasn't doing that.
I am very curious to see how this plays out, because I do believe you're right. I think an engaged and interested Jair Alexander is a difference-making cornerback.
Yes.
But I would also argue that when healthy this season, Jair has not been overly engaged or interested. I watched him play against the Atlanta Falcons. I watched his false bravado all over the field.
But when he wants to be,
back it up.
What was the year that he went and played Justin Jefferson and just shut him down? Nothing. Was that at Lambeau Field? I believe that was at Lambeau Field. We took one of the top receivers and took him out of his game.
Engaged and interested on a team that had Super Bowl aspirations to start the season.
Yeah. And so, right, you may not know what you're getting, but that's what he can do when he's right.
I think he misses his buddy.
Who's that?
I think he misses Rasul Douglas.
Could be.
I think his guy got traded away, and I think he's butthurt about it.
Could be.
I think it's bugging him. I think he's annoyed. I don't think he and Joe Barry see eye to eye. I think he is frustrated with the situation, and instead of being a great teammate, he is using all that's bothering him against the team, a
Correct.
team that needs him.
Right. And that's my whole point, Greg. That was my whole point in this. Is that when does it get to be more? Have your voice. I'm good for that. But at what point will you cross the line where it's not about the team anymore? And I'm waving the flag. I'm carrying a G. I'm all about the Green Bay Packers through and through. I'm trying to win games. I'm trying to get to the playoffs with this young team so we can move forward. I just don't know if Jair is all in on that. And only those guys in the locker room knows that. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm just telling you what I see. And you're just speaking of what you see as well.
I have a pretty good BS meter. There's a lot of BS coming out of 23's mouth. That's how I see it. 800-990-3776. If you'd like to join us here on the program, 800-990-3776. Coming up next, is it still all about development here for the Green Bay Packers? And did last night's game stunt that development? or will it contribute to their development? We'll take a look coming up on the other side. Come join us here. Why don't you? Rockin' Brews is where you'll find us, the fourth floor of Potawatomi Hotel Casino, for our Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday on ESPN Milwaukee and WTMJ.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. He's the most interesting man in sports radio.
Well, should I have a chip on my shoulder that I'm not making as much money as Skip Bayless?
In his mind, anyway. The Homer Hour, with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
When you say they gave it away, what's at the top of your list?
Get them off the field on third down.
The Homer Hour, with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Jeff Sports invites you to stop in for your sports memorabilia fix. Jeff Sports is a family-owned business with over 43 years of experience. Jeff Sports has a huge selection of autographed sports memorabilia and sports cards. They also offer custom framing with all framing done in-house. Ask about their sports auction consignment program. It's simple and has a 100% no-risk guarantee. For more info, go to jeffsports.com or stop by 14165 West Capitol Drive in Brookfield. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Visit jeffsports.com.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and make 2024 the year that you are back living normal life again. Hey, this is Brad Nortman. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These all-natural treatments can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country. People who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who are able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. If you have pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now so you can get the most out of 2024. Get back to doing what you love. And don't forget, you can use your HSA and FSA funds. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Call 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Again, 414-285-3474.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7- and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
The Saganiac Planning Fantastic Finish. January 3rd, 1998, Marquette at Louisville. I'll Try to Do It is done by the Marquette play-by-play voice. Free throw no good. Marquette has it in the backcourt with West. Down 2 with 7. West in the front court. West has Levette. Levette to Gordo. He's open. The three is gone. He hit it. They won. He hit it. Brian Wardle hit the three. A miracle. Marquette beats Louisville 71-70. Brian Wardle with a game winner. They're shocked. The live version is better. YouTube.com. For insurance made simple, look no further than Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. If you want benefits that encourage regular preventative care, savings when you need more than a checkup, quick service, and access to the largest provider networks, who can you rely on? There's one simple answer. Definitely Delta Dental and Delta Vision. Call Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
And you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we...
Blitz, end zone, catch made, Heath again. And the official that would make the call gets knocked over. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Our best electrifying play of the game in the second half. Jordan Love to Malik Heath, the rookie. One play after he had and lost a touchdown reception in the end zone, he comes back with an incredible hands catch right at the goal line, stretches his arm out, breaks the plane, tumbles to the ground, takes out the referee. Packers on top. 22-21. Unfortunately, they end up falling to the Giants. Some breaking news here from the world of the NFL. John Clark, who covers the New England Patriots, reporting about an hour ago that the Patriots will be parting ways with Bill Belichick after the season ends. This is according to NBC Sports Boston. So Bill Belichick...
Is that real?
There have been a lot of discussions about Bill's future, and Robert Kraft is not one that takes kind of losing. And he even sort of softly addressed the idea with Pat McAfee on a recent program on ESPN. So this is news that is starting to gain a little bit of steam around the NFL. We'll continue to bring more sources as they become
you think that's legit,
available.
Huh? Doesn't he have the...
What do you think, right?
What is the all-time winning record? Is that Don Shula? Does Don Shula have the all-time
most wins in NFL history?
Yes. Is that Don Shula? And isn't he like, 5 or 6 wins? Maybe 10 wins behind that or something like that?
So Shula is 328.
Uh-huh.
Belichick regular season wins is the active leader with 301. The playoffs are treated separately, if I'm reading this correct. So Belichick has 301 career wins. I'm sorry, Don Shula 328, George Halas 318.
Okay.
Bill Belichick 301.
So he's got to get in front of Halas yet first.
Yes.
So he's in third place.
But in striking distance, I mean,
right,
to catch Don Shula, you're probably talking about 3-4 more years, right, to catch Shula.
Yeah.
Assuming a reasonable record. But we shall see where this goes. That's one report about Bill Belichick. It has not really gained wildfire across the interwebs yet. But we'll continue to bring you developments.
Yeah. That would be...
Yeah, there you go. He's your next defensive coordinator. Yeah, let's bring Bill Belichick to Green Bay. Easy fix, right?
He loves Green Bay, though.
Well, he does.
He absolutely loves Green Bay. He loves the history. He loves what Green Bay stands for. But I don't think he'll go anywhere and be a defensive coordinator. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. And you know where that is?
Chicago.
No.
I don't know.
Buffalo.
Interesting. You heard it here first.
Buffalo Bills.
That could absolutely happen. Sean McDermott on the hot seat. I think they'll make the playoffs, but the Bills are kind of an underperforming team this year, I think, overall.
The other spot would be the Chargers.
Keep an eye on that, right? That is another dumpster fire out there right now. 1 year, this is very on brand for the Chargers. Not to deviate too much here.
That's okay.
But this is very on brand for the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
They have all this explosive talent all over the field.
Yes.
Right?
Everywhere.
And you can't even sniff the playoffs.
Mm-mm.
There was a year, Gary, Phillip Rivers was the starting quarterback. The Chargers had the top-ranked offense in the NFL. They had the top-rated defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not qualify for the postseason.
Yeah.
That is not a
That's how bad that franchise has been.
Like that, how do you explain that? That is classic Chargers.
Yeah, the Padres are like that too at some point.
San Diego thing. They're classy out there.
The Padres are the same way. Sorry to get into all that, but yeah, I mean, if I thought that the wins, the wins and losses to be the winningest coach in NFL history. I thought they wanted that to happen in New England. I can see if they do part ways, but that bears looking at here in the future if he would part ways with him.
There will be a Black Monday in the NFL. They call it the day after the regular season ends. Coaches are fired, looking for work. Sometimes it's a merry-go-round, and one coach goes from here to there. One team's trash is another team's treasure.
Sure.
That happens all of the time.
Right.
Who do you believe in the NFC? I just outlined the creamy middle.
Okay.
Packers are one of 6 teams in the NFC with a record of 6-7. Teams ahead of the Green Bay Packers include the Minnesota Vikings, who are going to start Nick Mullins at quarterback because the Josh Dobbs experiment is
they caught up with him.
Apparently done.
It's done.
The Philadelphia Eagles. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, by virtue of being a division leader, are technically ahead of the Green Bay Packers. They'll see them this weekend at Lambeau. The Lions, the Cowboys, and the San Francisco 49ers. Other teams in the mix include the Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, Saints, and I guess technically Giants and Bears.
Do you find yourself rooting for Mike McCarthy? Because I do.
That's a complicated question.
I do, Greg. I find myself rooting for Mike McCarthy. And at one point, here he is in this stale, old offense that couldn't do anything in Green Bay. And now that same stale offense is producing a MVP season for Dak Prescott. Nothing's changed in that offense. And I find myself I do not like the Cowboys. As a matter of fact, I hate the Cowboys. But I find myself rooting for Mike McCarthy. I hate Cowboys and I hate Cowboy fans. Don't everybody?
Got an amen from the crowd here.
I mean, I do. I mean, Cowboy fans, they get on my last nerve. And they ain't won nothing in a long time. But I find myself rooting for Mike McCarthy. And after he had this emergency appendix surgery or whatever he had, and he's down on the sideline, it's just incredible. But right now, they are the team to beat in the NFC. For a minute, it was San Francisco. Then San Francisco lost 3 games in a row. For a minute, it was the Philadelphia Eagles. And now it seems like they've fallen on hard times. But I tell you what's wrong with Philadelphia is that their schedule is catching up with them. They have played a horrendous schedule here over the last 3-4 weeks. And so I think they're tired. So I think they'll resurface, get back. I think Jalen Hurts, all those guys, they'll get back and they'll start playing well. But right now, the best team in football, fluid situation, Dallas Cowboys.
The most dominant teams in the NFL this year, and I'm looking at scoring differential, are the 49ers, the Cowboys, who have the greatest point differential, plus 188.
Well, they get a bunch of turnovers.
That's
the Cowboys
extraordinarily high.
They get a bunch of turnovers.
The Miami Dolphins and Bills are also over 100 in their point differential. Keep in mind, Miami put up 70 against the Broncos, a team that's really turned it around. The team I'm leaving out of this mix that kind of flies under the radar, pun intended, the Baltimore Ravens.
The Ravens do fall on the radar here, don't they?
At 143 point differential, plus 143.
Yeah, they're playing some good football. Lamar's got them playing really good football.
So here's my complication with the Dallas Cowboys. What tugs at you also tugs at me. I despise the Dallas Cowboys. You say America's team, I think green and gold.
I do too.
The rest of America might think silver and blue.
Right.
And white. I don't like Jerry Jones. I don't like the bravado, the star, the everything's bigger in Texas. I find it comical that the Cowboys have achieved regular season success over the last several years and fallen on their ass in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That pleases me. I like watching them lose more than 90% of teams in the NFL. And it's on par with the Seattle Seahawks, who I enjoy seeing lose. Any team that Russell Wilson plays for, I enjoy seeing lose. And every team in the NFC North Division.
You don't like Russell Wilson?
I'm not a Russell Wilson guy.
Really?
I think he's fake as can be. Fake as the chest on a Tijuana hooker, Gary.
What's fake about Russell Wilson?
Everything. I don't find him to be genuine at all.
Really?
I think he tried too hard to be the perfect, upstanding gentleman in Seattle, and his teammates caught on to that and were like, enough of you.
Yeah, he did. After it came out, there was a lot that came out. But I blame the head coach.
I support that. I'm not a Pete Carroll fan.
I blame the head coach.
So he
shielded him.
Back to my tug with the Cowboys. I despise the franchise. Don't like the owner / GM, whatever the heck he is. He's all that. I very much like Mike McCarthy, the man.
Yes.
And he gave Packers fans, along with some very talented quarterbacks, some very talented rosters, I get it. They won a Super Bowl under Mike McCarthy. Nobody will ever take that away from him. Should they have won more? I get the argument, but not every team in franchise is built like the Patriots either.
Right.
So that's a plus. I don't know that I can root for the Cowboys, but the single idea that Mike McCarthy, the man Aaron Rodgers threw under the bus repeatedly, could take a team to the Super Bowl sooner than Aaron Rodgers could take another team to the Super Bowl is comical to me.
Two things can be true, and these are two things. Cowboys get to the Super Bowl, the Packers get to the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers. You're right. Rodgers threw McCarthy under the bus. He's got another job. Rodgers wanted out of the Green Bay because he couldn't get along with upper management. They rebuild, circle back, they're in the playoffs. I don't know how Rodgers would do with all that. I really wanted the Packers to win because they were in New York and I knew Rodgers was watching.
Sure. Still could happen.
This is petty stuff we're doing right now.
It sure is. Isn't it fun, though? Isn't it fun, though?
I just thought about this. We're doing really petty stuff right now.
This is the stage of life I'm at now, Gary,
this
right?
This is petty.
I now look at this situation, and for my own personal enjoyment, I can find myself subtly cheering for the Cowboys.
I am. Well, I'm cheering for Mike McCarthy.
But there you go. That's the ultimate reason.
I'm cheering
for the idea that he could do something Aaron Rodgers can't.
Yes.
Before Aaron Rodgers can get it done again.
That plays into it as well. Absolutely.
It does. So, yes, I'm spiteful.
That plays into it.
I am spiteful.
Absolutely.
7:30 on ESPN Milwaukee and 620 WTMJ. We'll update our poll question coming up on the other side. Which unit is most to blame for last night's loss? Offense, defense, special teams, they all had a hand, no doubt about that. We'll update the poll results after this. Hang with us here on WTMJ and ESPN Milwaukee.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. Why do so many people live years with back tax problems? You didn't file one year because you were sick or thought you couldn't pay. Then next year you didn't file again. Soon you think you can't file. You do things that don't make sense or may be illegal. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope the problem will go away. It will only get worse unless you make the right choice and step up to get them off your back. Do you want your paycheck garnished, a lien on your house, your passport revoked, or your bank account wiped out? We help reduce or eliminate penalties, negotiate payment plans, and file back tax returns. My latest book has advice on what to do to avoid trouble with the IRS. Make the right choice. Go to rightchoicetax.us to book a call or in-person meeting right now. We know you want to take the first step in getting the IRS off your back so you can live again. That's rightchoicetax.us.
Serious truck crash? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
This is Kevin Van Rossum, president of Three Tree Marketing. Send gifts to appreciate anyone, anywhere, anytime with a gift of your choice by using our gifting solutions technology. Our team handles it all, from concepting, site creation, as well as production of branded products. Elevate your brand's connection to its consumers by creating the ultimate gifting experience with us. Make the art of gifting effortless for yourself. At Three Tree Marketing, we chase partners, not orders. Visit threetreemarketing.com to see what we can do for you.
Turnpike Troubadours are coming to Milwaukee Friday, December 15th at Fiserv Forum.
On a long, hot summer day.
Turnpike Troubadours with Ian Munsick and the Wild Feathers.
I always kept the best for you.
Get your Turnpike Troubadours tickets now through Ticketmaster.com.
Mama warned you about.
Don't miss Turnpike Troubadours, Ian Munsick and the Wild Feathers. Live in Milwaukee, Friday, December 15th at Fiserv Forum. Presented by Mammoth.
It's no leap to make time to head to Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield this week. Not just because of the great deals you know will be available, but because of a very special guest. Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler will be stopping by Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield this Wednesday from 4 to 6. He'll be signing autographs for fans and celebrating the 30th anniversary of the very first Lambeau Leap. Take photos with the Hall of Famer and add his signature to your collection. Come see Leroy, and while you're there, check out Robert Hack's holiday specials on lab-grown diamonds. 2-carat diamond earrings for just $999. That's right, 2 carats, for under $1,000. And if you need repairs or want to get cold hard cash for your gold, Robert Hack Diamonds can help you with that too. It all happens this Wednesday from 4 to 6. Celebrate the 30th anniversary of the first Lambeau Leap by getting an autograph from Green and Gold legend and Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, and finish your holiday shopping all in one trip. It's this Wednesday at Robert Hack Diamonds in Brookfield. RobertHackDiamonds.com.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Here's another shot at it. Breaks loose again. Back-to-back big runs and still going. Tripped up and down inside the 20. The ball comes out. And for now, it is being returned by Carrington Valentine. They're letting this play go. And we'll obviously all take a look and see if Barkley did indeed fumble it. But they did not blow it dead.
What a wild play. Have you ever seen what happened to Saquon Barkley last night? I mean, it completely opened the door for the Packers to take the lead and have a potentially game-winning touchdown drive. Otherwise, the Giants put that game away, right? They get a field goal there, and it's lights out. It's curtains.
Yeah, so when you first look at that play, you say to yourself, the ground can't cause a fumble, right?
You're exactly right.
Is that what you think, right?
Yes. Because I thought somebody in the process of, just leaping over Saquon, just would have kicked him, just foot to the back, something.
But the explanation to that is he wasn't tackled.
Exactly.
He fell on his own, so no one really touched him. So that gets rid of the ground can't cause a fumble. So had they touched him while he still had the ball in his hand or was moving, I think he would have been down. The Packers didn't touch him.
It's a wild play. Credit to Valentine for having the presence of mind to do something with the ball. Everybody else just standing there like, oh.
Everybody's watching.
He returned it like 15 yards before anybody was even moving.
Right. Before they realized what had happened.
Well, he kept going, and it set the Packers up with great field position. They needed 36 yards to get into the end zone. They did it. And with a minute 33, they ended up taking a lead. However, they could not hold it as Tommy DeVito and the Giants offense moved roughly 50 yards downfield into field goal position to win last night's game.
Real quick, did you find yourself rooting for Tommy DeVito?
Oh, come on now.
I did. I mean, I did. The whole
I wanted
Tommy
him
DeVito, the whole I'm living at home with my parents, my brother, the whole whatever that is that they were doing, this thing.
The whole mobster-looking.
All that. I got the mob agent.
Right.
I got into all that.
It was
It was made for TV.
It was very New York last night.
I loved that.
Like that in Miami doesn't look the same.
No,
that in New York looked New York.
Didn't that look New York?
Oh my God,
you didn't get into Tommy DeVito last night.
All right,
you didn't rally behind. I mean, I know it's our Packers. I get it, but just that guy himself. Because that could be any man. That could be any guy. He is what a lot of people don't understand what the NFL is about. The NFL is, we think, is Rodgers, Mahomes, those guys, Tom Brady. We think that's the NFL. But for the most part, the NFL is made of those guys who get cut, find a way to come back and get on a team and to live out their dream. That is the purest form of what the NFL is. The NFL is made of more of those guys than they are made of the Mahomes of the world.
So the Tommy DeVito story reminds me of Jeremy Lin.
Okay.
For the New York Knicks.
Yes.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
the dude is like
I can get it down with
an
that.
hour away from getting cut.
Yes.
And he decides, you know what? I'm just throwing everything I got. And he did. And Linsanity became a thing.
Yes.
And you want to talk about fan bases, man? Packers fans are great.
Yeah.
Well, is there a better fan base in the world to have in the palm of your hands than the New York fan base? Now it swings left and right.
Yeah.
I mean, quick as a hiccup. But if you get buy-in,
yes,
from the New York sports fan,
and Tommy DeVito is right. He's one of them.
You never pay for a drink the rest of your life.
Oh no, he's one of them. And they were talking about last night where they thought his mom was cooking all these meals. His mom ain't cooked a meal since he's been the quarterback of the New York Giants. Everybody in the neighborhood is bringing over dinners, fresh dinners every day. They got food everywhere. Mom's not cooking for nobody.
Right, there's just the neighbor, right?
The neighbor. You remember little Tommy?
Yeah, right. He still goes out and flushes your toilets when you go on vacation.
Remember
right?
little Tommy?
Yeah. You'll come and get your paper if you leave for a week.
Right.
You'll walk your dog.
Little Tommy.
Yeah.
And the agent, it just couldn't be better. They should make a movie out of that.
It is a fairy tale story. I get that. It is a great story.
But
unfortunately, it comes at the expense of the Green Bay Packers and their playoff hunt.
Fine.
I can support the story.
Okay, good.
I much would have preferred Malik Heath being a household name this morning.
See, now
but Tommy DeVito is a nationwide star today.
He is. On Tuesday. Everywhere. He, the agent, the mom, and the dad, and the brother. Everywhere. Everywhere. Love it.
Now, I wish that would have happened against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks or something like that.
Okay, I can buy into that.
But it didn't. And here we are.
I can buy into that.
Which unit screwed up the most in the Packers' loss last night? Offense, defense, special teams. We have over 200 votes in. Defense at 44%, special teams 36%, offense lagging behind at 20%.
For me, special teams, the most. Unfortunately, the eye is going to be on the defense because of the last series, but special teams. Between penalties, fumbles, missed kicks, that's a lot.
You outlined a lot of it. Rudy Ford.
That's a lot.
In the early going, just sort of launching his defender and ending up crashing in, catch interference, right? That happened. Anders Carlson missed a fourth quarter field goal.
That's a lot.
Always big, but especially in the fourth quarter. Keep in mind, Jordan Love was sacked for about a 10-yard loss to make that a more difficult field goal. That has happened way too many times this year to the Packers. And you also had, as you mentioned, just a foolish play by Keyshawn Nixon, a player who I'm sure the coaching is, you be aggressive, you be you, and things are going to happen. Well, he compounded his mistake and it led directly to 7 points.
Take the good with the bad with him. But he should know better than not to make it bigger than what it was.
That's a high school mistake. You can't compound it.
Pretty much.
You fall on it.
I know you're trying to make a play, but just let's live to fight another day on it.
You live to fight another day is exactly right. So special teams lagging behind the defense, offense at about 20% as the Packers fall to 6-7. So let's take a look at the schedule the rest of the way.
Let's do that,
shall we?
Yes.
So we've got a meaty matchup here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday at Lambeau. Baker Mayfield, his last two trips to Lambeau, has been awful. I don't think he's a very good quarterback, but he has been frisky with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team.
He'll be frisky Sunday.
Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame receiver. He's having an outstanding season.
This guy catches over 1,000 yards every year from any quarterback that they have.
Rashad White is their kind of all-purpose back. He doesn't really make your eyes pop.
He's not Saquon Barkley, but he can get 100 yards on the ground.
He's been very effective here the last month of the season. That's what they do on offense. On defense, they're okay. There's nothing special about the Buccaneers, but I'm guessing they look at the Packers and say there's nothing really overly special about the Green Bay Packers either.
No. Well, the quarterback is
There are some moments. I would agree with that. I think Jordan Love is probably closer to being special than Baker Mayfield. But nonetheless, this is another matchup. And if you would have told me, Gary, going into the Thanksgiving Day against the Lions, Packers are going to win 2 out of their next 3. I think you're high-five and say that's a win.
Here we go.
Right? I mean, you're not thinking Lions, Chiefs, Giants, right? I mean, you're picking the Giants out of there, but then you're going to say, okay, you can beat the Chiefs or Lions. Solid.
Right.
You might say we'll beat the Lions on Thanksgiving, but probably not going to beat the Chiefs at home, but we'll take care of the Giants and rebound from that loss to Kansas City. So if you look at it broad perspective, as Meatloaf would once say, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No. And I don't know who Meatloaf is.
It's okay.
But 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
It ain't bad.
No.
But now you get into the stretch where you don't have as much room to absorb, I think, more than one loss. So between Tampa, Carolina, Minnesota, and Chicago to close out this season,
right?
I think you need a minimum of 3 wins to be a playoff team.
Will the Packers be favored Sunday, or are they favored? Do we know that as of yet? I don't know. If
we'll see if the line fluctuates. I like to wait till the injuries are kind of sorted out. You get a better sense.
Packers this morning.
Favored by 3.5, Chris?
Yes.
That tells me on a neutral field it's kind of a push.
Yeah.
And these teams are relatively even. That's a warm weather team coming to the cold weather climate. That's a thing.
I don't think that's a thing anymore. I think it used to be. No, not anymore.
Global warming kind of effect?
I don't know what it is, but we used to dominate, and that all flew out with McCarthy and
that flew
Rodgers.
out. That flew out when Michael Vick ran for who knows how many
well,
yards.
it was warm that day.
Snowing against Atlanta.
It was warm that day.
But nonetheless, the Lambeau Mystique started to shake a little bit.
It did. It shook a little bit
at that time. So, and then you've got the Carolina Panthers. They're a complete mess at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Vikings have had quarterback issues. The Bears have actually played pretty good football of late.
The Bears are the team that scares me the most because I think defensively they're much better than what they were. That Montez Sweat, when they made that move, that bolstered that whole team. Right now, their defense are probably playing some of the best football that is out there right now of any defense in the NFL.
They have put together a pretty good stretch here. Justin Fields
I don't trust him still yet.
Justin Fields?
Right.
I don't know if the offensive coordinators trust him the way they throw the ball on the perimeter so much. But that is a matchup to be sure at the end of the year, and who knows what time that game will be played. The NFL doesn't announce that till later on. So that's the schedule for the Packers here on out. We estimate 3-1 is the minimum here to be a playoff team. You go 4-0, you're in. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
4-0, you're in. So they still are in a position to control their own destiny. One more segment on the program. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur, who commented on last night's loss, both last night and today. We'll hear from the Packers head coach. And if you'd like to join us here, got another segment, 800-990-3776. More coming up after this on ESPN Milwaukee and 620 WTMJ.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
Everyone's using Daniel Jones as why Jordan Love is going to get paid all that money. I think it's the opposite. I think it's what you just hit.
Right.
I think that it's more of like, hey, be careful. Don't just jump into paying someone unless you're sure.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Is that how you manage?
That is not how you manage, but that might be the way that the Green Bay Packers organization goes about the business.
It's the way the Green Bay Packers.
We know they go about their business like that.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
I want to talk about my good friends over at the Jury Center, 76 in Layton Plaza in Brookfield off of Blue Mile Road in Tri-City National Bank Building. The third location for you folks is in historic downtown Burlington, Wisconsin. Find them on the website, shoptjc.com, shoptjc.com. And at their website, guys, you can buy just about anything you want to buy at all 3 of their locations. If you want the most money for your old gold or jewelry, then it's going to be at the Jury Center. Guys, when you walk in the store, ask for my good friend Dean Murray. He will give you the best possible deal on any piece of jewelry that he has in the store. And most people talk about great deals on Black Friday. Well, it's Black Friday every day at the Jury Center. Guys, if you're not going to the Jury Center and buying a piece of jewelry, I'm guaranteeing you that you're spending too much money on a piece of jewelry. Guys, just don't take my word for it. Go check them out today at the Jury Center, and that's for my good friend Dean Murray.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
So it seems that the 2 betting favorites for the MVP in the National Football League, of course, are both quarterbacks. You got Brock Purdy on one side for the San Francisco 49ers, and you got Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys. Both of those 2 guys have been unbelievably fantastic at the quarterback position, especially after the 49ers had their 3-game losing streak, and the Cowboys got the blood beaten out of them by said 49ers, and Dak Prescott's been on fire ever since. But I don't believe anybody's been more valuable to their football team than Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins. Last night, losing to the Tennessee Titans was a case study of how valuable he is. They are not the same team without him. When he was on the field, everybody was frightened to death on defense of the Tennessee Titans. When he suffered that ankle and knee injury on a tackle, even Tua Tagovailoa was looking around saying, all right, who do I go to now? And it was just a calming effect on one side for Tennessee, and it was the complete opposite of that when it comes to Miami Dolphins. I don't believe he's going to win the MVP, but there's no more valuable person to his team in the league than Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins. In 60 seconds, good for Joe Flacco with the Cleveland Browns.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Everybody, I don't care who you are, loves a good underdog story, especially when a story comes out of nowhere that you could not have seen coming. That is where we are with certain players in the NFL, but no more so lately than Joe Flacco of the Cleveland Browns. People thought, why would the Cleveland Browns think about bringing that guy in? That guy can't play anymore. Oh, really? The last couple of weeks, Joe Flacco has shown he's in a perfect situation. He's made the Browns exponentially better at the quarterback position when they didn't know what they were going to do. When Deshaun Watson was knocked out for the rest of the season, they tried P.J. Walker. By the way, they cut him, and they put in a rookie quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and that was not going to end well. Joe Flacco is playing like he did when he first got to the NFL, just letting that ball go, letting that thing go, and trusting his wide receivers and making that work. And again, keep an eye on the Cleveland Browns, because who knew that this story was going to happen with Joe Flacco being the lead star. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Yeah, it's disappointing. There was a couple where you just got to, again, it comes down to getting 11 guys on the same page and everybody doing their 1/11th, as I always like to say. And when that doesn't happen, bad stuff happens. And it's unfortunate, and I thought, like, for the most part, a lot of times it looked like when he was dropping back, if it wasn't there, he was trying to find an exit angle, and he found them. So credit to him and his ability to do that, and obviously his legs really hurt us in the game.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur on the performance of Tommy DeVito in last night's loss to the New York Giants. 71 yards rushing for DeVito. He was outstanding, effective overall. The number is not gaudy in any way, but he beat the Packers with his legs and did just enough with his arm in contributing to a win.
I wonder what his day was like today.
Man, I don't think you're buying
Tommy DeVito.
You don't have to buy a meal. Somebody's probably buying your gas.
I wonder just a day in the life of Tommy DeVito today. After a big win on national television, wonder what that's like outside of the stadium, outside of just when he walks out of the stadium. What is that late day like for Tommy DeVito and his parents and the family and all that?
Wakes up, has a nice breakfast.
Mom, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe they had a Victory Tuesday where they didn't have to go in all that early.
Yeah.
Did you ever have those where you get the day off after a win?
Not often in the years I played, but yeah, sure. Yeah.
I understand. Victory Monday, Victory Tuesday.
Yeah.
Victory anything.
Okay.
I think he had probably a good day.
I'm sure he did. So, Greg, Tampa Bay and you're right, feisty, coming into town on Sunday, what do you expect?
I don't expect the Tampa Bay scenario to play out like you experienced back in the 1980s where you wore pantyhose.
Well, we actually beat Tampa Bay that game.
I know.
Steve Young was the quarterback.
I just don't envision the weather being quite that gnarly when the creamsicle jerseys running around.
Creamsicle.
I don't know if they're wearing those. They should.
The Big Sombrero Stadium.
That was the name of the stadium, right? Unofficial.
Yeah.
No, I expect to see what we've seen out of Tampa Bay. They have an potentially explosive passing game. They have a methodical running game. I think that's kind of what it is. But Baker makes mistakes. You want to talk about a quarterback who's going to hand-deliver the ball to the other team at least twice? You better make that play when that happens. Because if you let him hang around just long enough, he somehow seems to find a way. Now, the record's not gaudy, but I would argue they're not loaded with talent. They've got some pieces, but I think they probably look at Green Bay the same way. Big group of rookies, right? Quarterback who's trying to keep his team afloat and in the playoff hunt. That's the exact same thing that's playing out in Tampa Bay. They're just a little bit more of a veteran team. Coming to Green Bay in December shouldn't be easy for anybody. Hopefully it's a problem for Tampa. I like that. I like how that looks on the schedule, the optics of it. But I'm also looking outside, right? It's 40 degrees tomorrow, 47 later in the week, and just I don't know if weather is going to be a big deal.
It's not. It's not, but it's an opportunity for the Green Bay Packers to check the box off for me. That was a big loss in New York. What do you want to, whether I say it's about youth or whatever, development, and I think that it was. But it checks the box off a win would, and that they learned from that game. That Matt LaFleur learned from that game. That Jordan Love learned from that game. Matter of fact, the Packers as a team learned from that game. And if they were to struggle, then how they win. You've got to give the Minnesota Vikings credit. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders, but it was 3-0. It was an ugly game, but they won it.
It's all that matters.
The Packers, ugly game, but they lost. How do you now move forward with this team and get this win that you really got to have at Lambeau Field is a huge game for me in checking the boxes.
Okay, so now it's the rebound effect, right? So we saw what happened when the Packers started to feel themselves a little bit. And I would argue two of the most impressive back-to-back wins that a team has had this season in the NFL. Mm-hmm. That's right up there.
Right.
Detroit on Thanksgiving, their day, their house, shorthanded, and then to come back home on Sunday Night Football and do the same thing to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You'd be hard-pressed to find back-to-back wins by any team more impressive than that. That's incredible stuff. But now you're being hunted, right? You go from the hunter to the hunted. We go from underdogs to being favored. We go from on the outside of the playoff race to in playoff position. So there lies the message shift from Matt LaFleur. I don't know that I'd chalk it up to laziness. They were starting to feel themselves a little bit. They weren't out there trying. I don't think any bit of last night was a matter of effort. I really don't. It was some foolish plays, some bad luck, and it all kind of boiled over in the final moments of that game. The Giants didn't play terribly well either.
No.
But now the rebound. How do you rebound from that tough loss to keep the ship upright?
Correct.
So that's how I view how last night, if we're talking about growth and development, can still be a step in that process.
That's what this is on Sunday. It's absolutely a step in that process for me. And it's absolutely a growth. And the special teams got to get better. They've got to be better than what they were. Special teams can't cause you to lose a game. And I felt like that's what happened on Monday night. Defense, for whatever reason, there's a lot of holes there. But if push comes to shove, you get the lead, they got to be able to close the door. And they didn't do that. But they did that against Kansas City. They were looking for a big drive, and Kansas City didn't get it in the game. But that's what we got to have. All these games are going to be close from here on out. I've said this before. This is how the Green Bay Packers are going to play from here on out.
We'll keep a close eye on the injury report throughout the week because you got a short week.
Yes.
Aaron Jones still trying to get healthy. Christian Watson still trying to get healthy. Quay Walker, Jair Alexander.
Jair plays Sunday?
I doubt it.
I think he plays Sunday.
Plus, you have injuries that cropped up during last night's game. Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman, went down. Jaden Reed, concussion protocol. Dontavian Wicks also injured. So this will be a very interesting week.
Receiver-wise, that could be a lot.
For sure.
Because you're getting deep now.
No doubt.
Samori Toure now becomes, your third receiver maybe?
Maybe even higher on the depth chart than that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it maps out here throughout the week. But this will be an interesting storyline to follow here as the Packers prepare for a short week contest against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Out of time here at Rockin' Brews. Happy to be joined by Gary Ellerson each and every week. Happy to have you join us as well. Great people down here at Rockin' Brews. Stop in to Potawatomi Hotel Casino and visit us on the 4th floor. The day after a Packers game, we are here from 6 to 8. For Gary Ellerson and our producer, Chris Larson, our on-site staff here at Rockin' Brews, we say thank you. Join us again next week as we hopefully are talking about a Packers win. I'm Greg Matzik signing off from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday on a Tuesday from Rockin' Brews.
Turnpike Troubadours are coming to Milwaukee Friday, December 15th